Hello. Now let's get started with lesson 10. We are going to discuss the past and the future tense. Now, what is simple past? It is used to denote an action completed in the past. It often occurs with adverbs or adverb phrases of past time. Like he painted the wall yesterday. The word yesterday is an adverb of past time, like last week, last month. I received the answer sheets last week. So sometimes this tense is used without an adverb of time, like I learned music in Mumbai. So it's not necessary to say when. I didn't sleep well. Akbar defeated the Mughals badly. At other times, the simple past is also used for past habits. Like in the past, he studied for 6 hours every day. She always drove her car. Past continuous tense. The past continuous is used to denote an action going on at some time in the past. The time of the action may or may not be indicated, like we were dancing merrily all evening. So, as the name suggests, the action is continuous, but it is in the past. Just like present continuous, he's playing now, it is in the present. She was playing all evening. So, the concept is the same continuous action, but in the past. As in the above example, past continuous and simple past are used together. Like the light went out while I was painting the book. So here my past continuous is used with the past tense. The light went out while I was painting the book because both the actions are in the past. This tense is also used with always, continually, still, etc. for persistent habits in the past. He was always complaining about her negligent behavior. That means she's always been complaining since the past. Past perfect tense. This denotes an action completed before a certain moment in the past. Now, you must be wondering what is the difference in present perfect, past, and past perfect because in all three of them, you start your action in the past. In past tense, you start your action in the past and finish much in the past. Like, I visited Agra 2 years ago. But in the present perfect, you start your action in the past and you have finished it in the recent past. I have visited Agra. But in past perfect tense, when there are two actions in the past, how would you know which action happened first and which action happened later? The former action is used with past tense and the latter action is used with the past perfect. Like when I reached the station, the train had started. Both the actions are in the past, but the train had started happened before you reached the station. Similarly, when I reached the party, the guest had already left. I had done my homework when Peter came to see me, so my past perfect is coming with my simple past tense. I had written the letter before he arrived. Past perfect continuous tense. Now, it is used for an action that began before a certain point in the past and continued up to that time. The former action is a continuous action and is interrupted by the latter action. Like when Miss Emma came to the school in 2005, Mr. John had already been teaching there for 5 years, which means this action, Miss Emma came to the school in 2005, happened in the past. But Mr. John had already been teaching that started 5 years before. So that's my former action, which is being explained with the past perfect, and my the latter action of Miss Emma coming to the school is explained with the simple past tense. Simple future tense. It is used for things and events that will happen in future. I shall be 15 next Tuesday. It will be Christmas in a week. We use this tense to discuss about what we think or believe. Like I think India will win the match. So India will win. India hasn't won. So that with this think and believe, and I'm sure if you're anticipating some event to happen in future, you will use the word will. I expect, I believe, probably. We can also use this tense when we decide to do something at the time of speaking, like it is raining, I will take an umbrella. The principal is very busy at the moment. So this is an ongoing action on the basis of which I decide that I should wait, which is action in future. All right, I will wait. Now let's talk about different other ways in which you can express an action in future without using a will. For example, you use going to. Let's get into the bus. It's going to leave means any moment. Look, it's going to rain heavily. Let's get into the bus. It's about to leave. So these are all actions which are going to be happen, which are going to happen in immediate future, but we are not explicitly using will. Don't go out now. We are about to have lunch. Now, will and shall can be interchanged, and many speakers do not differentiate between will and shall. But will is much more common and less formal, and it's much more definite than shall. With shall, there is always there's always a possibility attached to it that it may happen, may not. If I say you shall switch off your mobiles, you may switch off, you may not. You will have to switch off the mobiles. Means it's definite. You have no other choice. Future continuous tense. So, as the name suggests, it happens continuously in future. I suppose it will be raining when we start. That means when we start in future, it will be raining. This time tomorrow, I will be sitting in the train for Allahabad. This tense is also used to denote actions in the future which are already planned and which are expected to happen. Like, I will be staying here till Sunday. Maybe I'm already staying here. I will be staying here till Sunday. I will be leaving the city next month. So it's already planned that you'll be leaving the city and you know when it is expected to happen. That is why you will use future continuous tense. Now, one mistake that students make while using simple future is, so please make a note of it, is that when there are two actions in future, they try to use will two times. That is where they go wrong. Even if there are two actions in future, you should use will only once. For example, when I reach the school, I will convey the message to the teacher. You haven't reached the school. You will reach the school and then you will convey. But when you combine the two sentences, you can use will only once. When I reach the school, I will convey the message to the teacher. Future perfect tense. Now, this is used to denote actions that will be completed by a certain time in the future. I shall have finished my work by then. The word perfect itself means that you know when the action started and when it finished. Like present perfect, started in the past, just finished. Past perfect, two actions, one started in the past, was interrupted by the second action, again in the past. Similarly, future perfect tense. By the end of this week, I will have worked here for 10 years in future. What is future perfect continuous tense? It is used for actions which will be in progress over a period of time, and those actions will end in the future. By next October, we shall have been living here for 5 years. It's a continuous action which will finish in future. So we are using future perfect continuous. Most of the time, the most commonly you get to use only simple future and future continuous. Once in a while, you may use future perfect, but future perfect continuous is rarely used. Now let's try to understand the rules of tenses in simple terms. When my sentence is in active voice, is, am, was, are, were, you use ing. So let me explain. Sometimes the students get confused. They were they were playing in the garden. Now let's change it to uh, okay. So let's try to create a sentence in passive. Let's take another example. Alexander was writing the book. Alexander has written the book. But once you change the voice, the book was written. So you might ask me that I told you with was you should use ing. Then why am I using with was written? What is this, written form? En form. It is past participle. Fly, flew, flown. Blow, blew, blown. So these are the three forms of, tenses. which you have to take care of. And the third form is the past participle form. So whenever you say has and have, you use the past participle form. Has eaten, has passed. Similarly, whenever you say perfect continuous form, you use have been working, has been eating. These rules work for active voice. If the sentence changes to passive voice, the rules change. Robert wrote a fiction. A fiction was written by Robert. So when you change past tense to past tense in the active sentence to a passive sentence, it will change to the past participle form, the third form. Write, wrote, written. So it is a fiction was written by Robert. The teacher explained. So if you look at the word explain, my three forms are explain, explained, explained. My third form is also explained. That is why the concepts were explained in depth by the teacher. So as I said, the past participle form usually ends in ed, T, en, or n, like blinded, deceived, misspent, driven, eaten, passed. So it depends on which word that you are choosing for. There are words which do not change at all in their three forms. Cut, 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 put. There are words which change only in two forms. Send, sent, sent, lend, lent, lent. There are words which do not change, which change in all the three forms. Fly, flew, flown. So we have to take the third form with, as the past participle with our present perfect and also in our, in fact, passive sentences. That past participle, that the third form would depend on the kind of word that we choose. So in active, if you say I eat the food was eaten, okay? Or if you say she has eaten food, you will change it to the food has been eaten. In the past tense, it is ate. So that's the end of the past and future tense. I hope you are very clear with the concept of tenses. So we'll be now concentrating on, the transformation of sentences from one form to another, how to combine simple sentences into complex in our future lessons. I hope it was useful. Stay tuned. Happy learning.